Imagine the moment disaster strikes. Are you prepared or are you caught off guard? In a world where the unexpected is the new normal, it's essential to stay ahead of the curve. That's where prepping comes in. Prepping is not about fear, it's about readiness. It's about equipping ourselves to handle whatever life throws our way. It's about understanding the potential threats and taking proactive steps to mitigate them. Our world is changing at a breakneck speed: economic instability, political unrest, natural disasters, technological vulnerabilities. These are not mere possibilities, but realities we face every day. And while we can't predict the future, we can prepare for it. That's what prepping is all about. You see, prepping isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous process. It's about constantly evaluating our surroundings, recognizing the signs, and adapting our strategies accordingly. It's about understanding our basic needs: food, water, shelter, security, and ensuring we have provisions to meet these needs in any circumstance. But here's the catch. Prepping is not just about accumulating resources, it's also about developing skills. Skills that enable us to use our resources effectively. Skills that empower us to survive and even thrive in the face of adversity. Now you might be wondering, when should I start prepping? Well, the answer is simple. The best time to start prepping was yesterday. The second best time? Right now. Yes, right now. Because every second we spend in inaction is a second lost in preparation. Because every moment we ignore the signs is a moment we surrender to uncertainty. Because every day we postpone prepping is a day we gamble with our own safety and security. So let's not wait for the disaster to strike. Let's not be caught off guard. Let's awaken the prepper within us. And let's start prepping today. Because remember, in the face of uncertainty, preparedness is our only true weapon. The best time to start prepping was yesterday. The second best time, right now. Before we dive into the signs that it's time to start prepping, let's assess your current level of preparedness. You see, proper preparation starts with understanding the basic survival needs: water, food, shelter, and security. These are the pillars that form the foundation of any survival strategy. Water is the fuel of life. Without it, survival is measured in days, not weeks. Do you have a reliable and clean source of water? How about a way to purify and store it? If not, this should be a top priority on your prepping list. Next, we turn to food. Consider what you'd need to sustain yourself and your loved ones for an extended period. This isn't just about canned goods and MREs. Think about sources of nutrition and how to preserve food for the long haul. Now let's consider shelter. This isn't just about having a roof over your head, it's about maintaining a safe, warm, and dry environment. Do you have contingency plans and supplies for emergency repairs or even temporary relocation? Lastly, we need to think about security. This isn't just about self-defense, but also about safeguarding your supplies and ensuring you have the means to communicate and stay informed in a crisis. To take stock of what you already have, start by making a list. Write down every resource you have in each of these categories. Don't be disheartened if your list is short or even non-existent. This is your starting point. Remember, you don't have to gather everything all at once. Start small and gradually build up your supplies. Prioritize items that cover multiple needs. For example, a multi-tool can provide security and assist with shelter repairs. Also, keep an eye out for versatile food items. Rice, for instance, is easy to store, has a long shelf life, and can be used in a variety of meals. Finally, always be mindful of your individual circumstances. If you live in a cold climate, for instance, prioritize heating sources and warm clothing. If you're in a flood-prone area, focus on waterproof storage solutions and evacuation routes. Understanding what you already have will guide what you need to focus on first. This is the first step in your journey to becoming a well-prepared prepper, ready to face whatever challenges may come your way. Economic downturns and market instability can be early indicators of broader issues. The economy is like a colossal, unpredictable creature, its moods often signaling a change in weather. It's crucial to be aware of its fluctuations and understand how they can impact your survival strategy. Let's start with the basics. Economic indicators are statistics that tell us about the overall health of the economy. They're like the creature's vital signs. These include GDP, unemployment rates, inflation rates, and stock market performance, among others. When these indicators start to take a downturn, it's time to pay attention. A declining economy can lead to a host of problems that impact your daily life. It can cause companies to downsize or close, leading to job loss. This could mean less income for you to buy essential supplies. It can also lead to increased prices for goods and services, making it harder to stock up on necessary items. Moreover, economic instability can lead to social unrest. People may start to panic, causing a rush on supplies and leaving store shelves empty. This is why it's essential to start building your stockpile before the economy takes a turn for the worse. So, how can you monitor these economic trends? Fortunately, information is at your fingertips. There are numerous resources online where you can track these indicators in real time. Websites like Bloomberg, Reuters, and the Wall Street Journal provide up-to-date financial news and data. But don't just passively monitor these trends. Learn to understand what they mean. Educate yourself about basic economic principles. Read books, take online courses, or listen to podcasts about economics. The more you know, the better you can interpret the data and anticipate potential problems. Remember, prepping isn't about reacting to crises after they happen. It's about anticipating them and preparing accordingly. Economic downturns can be like dark clouds on the horizon, signaling a storm is coming. Learning to read economic signals is a crucial part of becoming a savvy prepper. It's not just about surviving, it's about staying one step ahead of the curve, ensuring you and your loved ones can weather any storm the economy might throw your way. Increasing frequency of natural disasters is a clear signal to ramp up your prepping. Let's take a moment to understand why. A natural disaster isn't just a single event, it's a series of dominoes. One disaster can trigger another, leading to a cascade of crises that could disrupt your life for days, weeks, or even months. But how do you track these natural disasters? Well, it's not as difficult as you might think. Websites and apps provide real-time monitoring of global weather patterns. These tools allow you to monitor severe weather patterns, geological activities, and more. They can help you understand the frequency and intensity of natural disasters in your region. However, understanding your region's unique weather-related threats is only half the battle. The second half is preparing specifically for those threats. For instance, if you live in an area prone to hurricanes, you'd want to focus on waterproofing your supplies, securing your property against high winds, and having a plan in place to evacuate if necessary. On the other hand, if you live in an earthquake-prone region, you'd want to prioritize securing heavy objects in your home and planning for potential disruptions in utilities. Now, it's important to remember that preparation is a process, not a one-time event. It's about building your resilience over time. Begin by focusing on the disasters most likely to occur in your region, then gradually expand your preparations to cover less likely, but potentially more devastating events. And let's not forget about the aftermath of these disasters. They often leave in their wake not just physical destruction, but also disrupted supply chains. This can lead to shortages of food, water, and other essentials. By prepping ahead of time, you can ensure you have the supplies to weather these post-disaster shortages. In essence, keeping a close eye on natural disaster patterns is not just about foreseeing the immediate danger, but also predicting the long-term consequences. It's about staying one step ahead of the crisis rather than simply reacting to it. Understanding your region's natural disaster patterns is a key step towards effective prepping, so start today. Equip yourself with the knowledge to anticipate and prepare for the unique challenges your region may face. After all, knowledge isn't just power, it's survival. From political turmoil to social unrest, the world stage can directly affect your safety and resources. We're not just talking about wars or revolutions in far-off lands. Even seemingly distant events can disrupt global supply chains, making everyday goods scarce or expensive. Rising tension between nations, trade disputes, or changes in international policy can all contribute to these disruptions. But it's not just about the global stage. It's equally essential to keep an eye on what's happening closer to home. Political decisions and social movements within your own country can lead to sudden shifts in the societal fabric, and these can have direct implications for your personal safety and resource availability. For instance, policy changes can affect the cost and availability of basic resources like food, water, and energy. Social unrest, protests, or strikes can disrupt services and create tension in your local community. These events can escalate quickly, and when they do, you want to be prepared, not caught off guard. So how do you stay ahead of the curve? Start by staying informed. Follow reliable news sources, understand the political climate, and keep tabs on social issues in your area. Recognize that these events aren't isolated, but form part of a larger pattern that can impact your daily life. In addition to staying informed, develop contingency plans. If a policy change threatens your food supply, for example, consider growing your own or building up a stockpile. If social unrest is on the rise, think about how you can secure your home and protect your family. Remember, prepping isn't about fear, it's about readiness. It's about understanding the world around you, anticipating possible disruptions, and taking proactive steps to ensure you and your loved ones can weather any storm. Being aware of political and social unrest can help you anticipate disruptions and prepare accordingly. A fragile power grid is a ticking time bomb. Let's pause and consider that statement. It's not about fear, but about understanding the reality of our interconnected world. We live in an era where we rely heavily on electricity and the internet. But what if, one day, that reliance becomes our downfall? Picture this. A significant power outage occurs, not just for a few hours, but for days, weeks, or even months. How would that affect your daily life? Your access to basic necessities like food, water, and warmth? The hard truth is that our power grid is more vulnerable than we'd like to believe. Natural disasters, technical malfunctions, and even deliberate attacks can lead to long-term blackouts. Preparing for such an event is not as daunting as it may seem. Start by considering alternative sources of power. Solar panels, wind turbines, or portable generators could be lifesavers in a blackout. Store necessary fuels safely and in sufficient quantities. Keep manual tools at hand for tasks usually done by electric appliances. But let's not forget about the digital world. Cyber threats are a looming danger in our interconnected society. A major cyber attack could disrupt banking systems, healthcare services, and other essential digital systems. It's not just about losing access to your social media profiles or your favorite streaming service. It's about the potential chaos that could ensue if our digital infrastructure is compromised. How do you prepare for a cyber threat? It starts with safeguarding your digital footprint. Regularly update your software, use strong, unique passwords, and be aware of the information you share online. Offline, consider keeping hard copies of essential documents and have cash reserves in case digital payment systems are down. Preparation also involves staying informed about potential threats and technological advancements. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it could be the key to your survival. Understanding technological and infrastructure vulnerabilities is essential for comprehensive prepping. So let's keep our eyes open, our minds alert, and our preparations thorough. After all, it's about securing our safety and peace of mind in an ever-changing world. Stockpiling isn't just about buying, it's strategic accumulating. It's about understanding what you need, the quantity you need it in, and how to store it effectively for the long haul. It's not a mad dash to the store at the last minute. It's a calculated and measured approach to gathering essential resources over time. You might be wondering, what are these resources? Well, they range from non-perishable food items, water purification tablets, medical supplies, to power generators and fire starters. And let's not forget about clothing suitable for all weather conditions. It's about having a well-rounded stockpile that can support you and your loved ones in any situation. But remember, the key word here is strategic. That means buying in bulk when items are on sale, rotating your stock to ensure nothing goes out of date, and always being on the lookout for multi-use items that can serve you in various scenarios. Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about skills. The skills you develop are just as important as the items you store. Think about it. What good is a medical kit if you don't know how to use it, or a fire starter if you don't know how to start a fire? Here's where skill development comes into play. Start with the basics. Learn how to perform first aid, how to purify water, how to start a fire, and how to build a shelter. Then, build on these skills. Learn how to hunt, how to forage for food, how to navigate using a compass and map, and even basic mechanics. Remember, these skills not only make you more self-sufficient, but also more adaptable to changing circumstances. They empower you to take control of your survival and not be solely dependent on your stockpile. So there you have it. Building your prepping foundation is a two-pronged approach. It's about strategic accumulation of resources and continuous development of survival skills. Because remember, the skills you develop are just as important as the items you store. Waiting for a disaster to strike before you start preparing is a gamble with high stakes. This is the wake-up call we've been building up to. We've covered a lot of ground in this video, and I want to take a moment to remind you of the critical points we've discussed. We started with the understanding that the best time to start prepping was yesterday. There's no time to waste when it comes to ensuring your survival and the survival of your loved ones. We emphasized the importance of taking an inventory of your basic needs: water, food, shelter, and security. This assessment is your foundation, your starting point. Next, we delved into the signs that should prompt you to ramp up your preparations. Economic fluctuations, market instability, and the increasing frequency of natural disasters are not just news headlines, they're signals, they're warnings that we need to heed and respond to. We also address the impact of political and social unrest, both on a global and local scale. The world stage can directly affect your safety and resources, while local tensions can escalate into larger conflicts. Staying informed and vigilant is key to staying prepared. In our technologically driven world, we can't ignore the vulnerability of our infrastructure. Power grid failures and cyber threats can disrupt our lives in unimaginable ways. Prepping for these potential crises is as important as prepping for natural disasters. Finally, we discuss the importance of not just stockpiling resources, but strategically accumulating them. And let's not forget the crucial role of skill development. The survival skills you develop today could save your life tomorrow. Remember, prepping is not a one-time activity. It's a lifestyle of continuous learning, assessing, and improving. It's about being proactive, not reactive. It's about understanding that our world is unpredictable, and the only way to navigate through it is to be prepared. This video has armed you with the knowledge to recognize the signs and start prepping effectively today. Now, it's up to you to take action. The alarm bells are ringing. Will you answer the call?